And it's also the first Wednesday of the quarter, which means we have our quarterly public forum. So we will move forward with that, and the public forum goes for a maximum of 30 minutes. And then the workshop session will start immediately following the public forum. And I do see that we have just a few residents who have put their names on the list to give public comment. And I just remind those, we're grateful for the public comment. Please keep your comments to about 2 to 3 minutes. And then this is mostly an opportunity for the council and the staff to listen to that feedback. And so we don't anticipate engaging back and forth in a dialogue during the public forum. So at this time, I'll open the public forum, and I see the first name on the list is John Olson from downtown Washington, and he'd like to speak to the council about the new USS Utah submarine. Big John. It's good to see you tonight. I didn't get a chance to make it that far back and shake your hand. I know, we got to work on that mic for you.
Mayor, Council, Jeremy, thanks for this opportunity. 2 years ago this month, I come in front of you with a flag that was found on the USS Utah. We all know where that went. There's a new USS Utah being built. The Navy accommodated the state of Utah and skipped a whole number to number the hull of the new USS Utah 801 for our area code. August 1st is 801. I propose that our city does a resolution or a proclamation adopting the new USS Utah as our boat and continuing the legacy of what we started with the original USS Utah. And I don't know if this is where I ask if I can be on the agenda for the next July 23rd workshop meeting and council meeting, regular council meeting. In April of this year, I had the opportunity to meet Commander Hornig down at the George Washington statue. It was his suggestion that we do this on 801. December 6th of 2024 December 6th, there's a sunset ceremony at the USS Utah Memorial on Ford Island. And I would like to present Commander Hornig spoke this last year, and I would like to present some of his speech to the council and maybe help with if we can adopt the boat, make it official, maybe get our school kids to help write letters at Christmas time, let them know that the sailors that serve on her, there's a home for them here. So, other than that, thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, John. John, I'll connect with you after the meeting or this week, and we'll work through some of those details and talk to the council about their appetite for a resolution or at a minimum proclamation. I think you know that this council wants to provide ongoing support and appreciation for all you've done with at the local and state level on that. Thank you. Our next resident is looks like Susan Reinhardt and Susan V. and Washington resident, and they would like to speak to us in regards to our wonderful Dogtown Dog Park. I hope you're loving the expansion, and we're happy to take any feedback you have.
Yes, we love the
And
dog park.
then just for the record, just speak into the mic and then tell us each your names. You're both Susan?
Yes.
And my page doesn't show the last name, but if you can just give us your name so we have it on record.
Mine is Wolfenstein.
Hold that mic to you. There you go.
Wolfenstein.
So it wasn't a V, it was a W. It cut off right in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
And mine is Reinhardt.
Okay. Welcome, ladies. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for this opportunity.
And slide right in there to the mic. There you go.
We love the dog park. There's a ton of people that go there. Best exercise for all of our dogs there. The one thing we would like to request is that there's 2 areas of the dog park. There's small dogs and large dogs. Small dogs have a water feature where they can cool off. Large dogs don't have anything like that, and it would be really helpful to have something like that in there.
So we were just thinking, maybe like a splash pad of some sort, because you do have 2 water pumps there where you can, get water into a bowl. And maybe do like, a foot and a half deep, 8-10 feet around, and then maybe put some like fake grass around, so as they're running up to it, they're not bringing the mud and stuff into it, because we all know that dogs, they cool off with their paws. That's how they, and where it's so hot in the summertime, and there's not a whole lot of shade there, but within a couple of years there will be because of the trees and stuff. I just think that would be wonderful. I went around and got a lot of signatures for it, and people were all for it. And I know that the smaller dog side would probably not be too happy if the big dogs started going over and using the water feature, because knowing me, I've got 2 dogs, 2 Dobermans, and they're lovely and they're friendly, but,
And
I don't think they'd be
they put the
smiling.
B in big dogs, right? Dobermans.
Yeah, yeah, but I just think that's something that is really needed to go with the wonderful space that we have for the big dogs. So we'd
Oh,
appreciate
that's
it.
great.
if-
That's
if
great
something could
feedback.
be-
Are you seeing it used a lot, the dog park? I know when I drive by, it seems to be the most used park in the city.
Oh, it is. It's the most used one out of Santa Clara, Ivins, Hurricane, everything. They all come from all around to use that dog park, and it's fantastic. It was well needed.
Good,
So we really appreciate that.
good. So what you're proposing
Yes.
to the kind of the expansion area is a water feature for the
Yes.
large dogs to be able to cool off in.
Yeah, it's some kind of like a water feature, maybe like a splash pad that is not turned on all the time, but like in the winter, you can turn it off, summer, you can turn it on, maybe a few minutes, at a time. So it's not gonna make a muddy mess. Just something that, and then maybe like, how they have those covers over the playgrounds? Maybe put something like that over the water so it's not,
Boiling.
so hot. Yeah, when the
Boiling
sun's
water.
beating down, yeah,
Like today.
yeah. So
That's great feedback. Did you have anything else to add?
No, just, our dogs do tend to overheat a little on the
Yeah.
big dog side. I
Yeah.
have taken mine over to the little dog side because they needed to cool off. But
Yeah.
yeah, if they had some way to cool off, it would
Okay.
be great.
Well, thank you. So the council has heard this, and I'll give them a chance just to chime in here in a second. And then
Okay.
I know that some of our parks staff is here and listening too. So just know that your comments are well received, and it seems to make sense, and take that into consideration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for your
Susan.
time.
Appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Council, any thoughts on that? Let staff take a look at it.
So Mayor, I actually had a communication with a person that had a larger dog, and he took it into the small dog side, and some people were not happy, and they let him know that they weren't happy. They brought a big dog in. He felt like his dog was controlled and that it wasn't aggressive towards the little dogs. But, so this isn't the first time that they've heard this, and, that park it is wonderful. Our parks do a great job, and I think it's certainly something we ought to consider at the right time and place.
Okay. And then if anybody from Parks is listening, maybe just consider that and look at the budget that we have and some ideas that you've heard and let us know. Okay, that is everyone that was on the public forum for tonight. Thank you. We appreciate your feedback. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meetings. Unless you would like to. You might find it interesting. I do. We all kind of nerd out on this stuff. All right, today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. we are in City Hall at the City Council chambers for our workshop meeting. All of our meetings are recorded for viewing live and archived at washingtoncity.org/meetings. Council, you've seen the workshop agenda, and I'll turn to you now for a motion to approve the agenda as outlined.
So made, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilman Ivy.
Second.
Second by Councilman Belliston. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion is approved. Our first item of business is land reserve. I'll invite Taylor Levitt and Matt Stapley to come forward and present to the council on some things that are happening within the Washington City boundary. Taylor, welcome.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Or having us. Taylor Levitt with Land Reserve. We own about 60 acres north of the Red Cliffs Temple. Part of it is in the neighboring St. George City, and part of it's in the county. So we understand that you and St. George are working on an annexation policy plan agreement. So as part of that, we just wanted to present our thoughts for our property, since even though there's a border there, we want there to be just one cohesive development. So I just sent a PDF to one of the tech people here, so hopefully we can get that pulled up in just a second and show a site plan.
Fantastic. Stephen or David, if you've got that.
Okay, perfect. So it's a little small, but you can see there are a couple of north-south streets there, or one main north-south street with the linear park there on the west side, and then a trail further to the east. That trail, the east side of that trail is the border, the current border between St. George City and Washington County. Whether we annex into into Washington City or do something else, this is kind of what our current thought is for this whole cohesive development. So you'll notice it's a little bit different than what's immediately surrounding it. It's not just quarter-acre home lots. It's a little bit more heterogeneous in nature. It blends different unit types, and I think it makes really good a good neighborhood and development with all walks of life being able to or all stages of life, and everything being able to live all in one neighborhood. So we've broken out densities and unit counts in that development summary on the left. You'll notice the Washington County density is a little bit higher than the St. George density, but that is attributed mainly to that linear park and the trail, which we view as necessary for the development. Both of those fall within St. George City limits. Within the county, there are some other smaller parks as well, but this linear park there serves a huge purpose of preserving a view corridor all the way from the Paseo on the north at Merrill Road, about a mile all the way south to the Red Cliffs Temple. So we want to preserve that as unbroken, uninterrupted open space where people can walk from the commercial space all the way at the north down to the temple at the south. And especially within the 60 acres here, being able to walk through and enjoy those views. So that's kind of the story on the difference in the densities. We do still try to incorporate some good open space in both regions. And there's some things that we're still working on in this, but overall just wanted to present this to you as our preliminary thoughts on the properties, and get thoughts and a little bit of feedback as we keep going through the planning.
Fantastic. Council, feedback, questions for Taylor?
Yeah, I got a couple. I think I have to keep kinking my neck to look at this thing. And One of the things that caught my eye right off the bat is I love that you're incorporating the trail now that that road's being somewhat, the old master plan road's being abandoned. We talked about it on the north end. I think the only thing that I don't see on here is along George Washington Boulevard. It's only got a 5-foot sidewalk, but it's required to be a trail as well.
Along the north side of Washington.
Along the north side
George
of George
Washington.
Washington Boulevard.
Okay.
To
Okay.
be consistent with that. And we know when George Washington got built, it only did a 5-foot sidewalk. I don't know why, but that got missed on our side.
Okay.
As far as it should have been, a trail should have been incorporated, but I think it was more of a phasing thing and not understanding what was your plan as the developer in the future, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. With preserving that walkability through this whole area, I think that was intended to be there. So we'll make sure to put that trail all along the north side of George Washington there.
And my only other comment would be on the townhomes, the duplexes up in the very northeast corner. Just, it's kind of, they're like kind of squished against that house that's currently there.
Okay.
But overall, I mean, what I'm seeing is I like that we have the buffer of the R110 and R1A adjacent to the existing R112, I think is what it is along that east boundary. It's a transition area, so I appreciate you adding that transition area in. So those off the cuff without spending, the 2 seconds we've had to look at it, those are the things that caught my eye. And I appreciate we're tying into our existing subdivisions, so we don't know where the boundary, most people don't know where the boundary is. And we
Right.
want it to seamlessly
That's,
go
yeah, the
together.
intent is to keep it unknown, other than if you're receiving mail
Yeah.
within that neighborhood. We want it to all feel like one thing, so, yeah. good
Since our
feedback.
addresses might be a little off from street to street.
Yeah.
There.
Fair enough.
I'll figure it out.
So, we've planned extensively for this area and put in some major investment, and we've anticipated this day, and we're very excited about that area being built out. We're,
Great.
having grown up there, we used to dig a lot of, I think it was sugar beets there in that area.
All right.
It was our steak farm back then, is that right, Judge? Sugar beets, and, this is an area that's very special to us. We're, we want to build out nicely and cooperate well with what we have planned, but I appreciate it. We've worked hard to get it ready for you, so.
Do you think you could tie sugar beet into the name of one of those roads?
Certainly.
What other names, Thad, come to mind down there?
Hay
Something
fever.
with a pheasant or asparagus?
So I've had some people ask me about the sugar beet industry, and what this area would do is they would grow the seed, or it would be bags of seed, which would be transported to the railway station at Modena.
Okay,
And then from there, they would sell their seed to the places that would grow sugar beets for sugar.
yeah.
Because of our long growing season, it was a good seed growth area. And we have some hoes that
The Segmillers have a long history of farming
I appreciate
in
knowing that.
that area.
steak farm was deeded to the stake from George Segmiller.
Yeah,
There was sugar beet seed growth right there.
yeah. Councilman Henderson, Councilman Bellison, any thoughts, feedback for Land Reserve?
Appreciate you coming in and sharing this with us. It looks great. That's a great plan. I like the diversity of lot sizes and, different types of homes. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Councilwoman Casperson, any comments, any feedback for Taylor and his group?
All right, now, is there any way that you could send this to us? Like, I know you sent it to,
Yeah, we'll have a couple changes to make, but we'll send you
okay,
what we
like,
can.
are
as soon
you
as
gonna
we can.
add the?
Yeah,
trail?
and
This is
yeah,
kind
you
of
haven't,
a sneak peek, kind of a trailer before the movie.
right. No applications have been made yet. It's just preliminary feedback, but yeah, we'll send you
Yeah,
what
it's
we
just
can as soon as we can.
hard to give a lot of feedback when,
Right.
we just got it, 1 minute ago, but
Yeah.
so far it looks good.
Just for the record, Taylor, I enjoyed spending some time with you a month or so ago up near the Saratoga Springs Temple, where you're building out some communities, and I know that this is a similar design and approach, and I really appreciated the thoughtfulness of that design, of the various price points and the community feel. So it was nice to be able to see a little bit of something that's a few steps ahead of where you're looking to
Right.
go here. So I think you've got positive feedback from the council, and certainly we share your your desire to make this a smooth and seamless process, and we would welcome you into Washington. Is there anything else you'd like to share with council and our staff while you've got the opportunity?
I don't think so. Thank you,
Can
everyone,
I just
for your
add one
time.
thing, Mayor? I'd just like to tell you again, I'd like to just tell you that we appreciate, or we want to have a good relationship, want to work well. You'll find that Washington City is a great city to work with, and I think a lot of our goals align well.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. You've been a breeze or been a dream so far, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levitt. Appreciate it. All right, the next item of business is Pineview High School homecoming events. I'd like to invite the new principal of Pineview High School, Mr. Brett Gifford, along with student leadership to come forward and present to the council on a few ideas that they have for their homecoming events. And might I add that I love the black and maroon with just a hint of, silver and white as trim. You look great.
Are you alumni, Mayor?
I might be class of 93, but nobody do the math on that. You'll find out that I'm getting older every day.
There you go. Mayor Staley and City Council, thank you for taking the time to meet with us or having us come in today. I am Brett Gifford, the new principal of Pineview High School, and what a wonderful experience and opportunity. I'm really looking forward to it. And as you can see, I've got these amazing young men and women here representing Pineview. They are our student council, and so they are our student leaders. I apologize because I thought I was going to be able to digitally share this, but I have hard copies for you guys, if that's okay. Will you guys pass those? Okay, I am going to actually turn the time over. The first thing, just as you guys will see, there's a few sheets, they're front and back printed, but first thing, the saying we always have at Pineview is it's a great day to be a Panther, and we feel that way every day. It's always a great day to be a Panther. We've got a few different things we'd like to just propose involving our homecoming parade, and so I'm going to turn the time over to our amazing student council here.
Hi, my name is Hazley Paramore. I am the senior class vice president at Pineview High School. And one of the things that we've been, as we're starting to plan for this upcoming year, is our parade. And so obviously Pineview opened in 1983, and it was the second school in St. George. And in 2007, we started our homecoming parade on Telegraph, and that has become a big part of Pineview. We do it every year. There's people.
Say that year again, Aisley.
2007.
Oh, 7.
So it's been about 18 years since we started doing it, and so it's become a big tradition, and it's brought our community together, and been a way for especially the students and the people in Washington, which is a big part of our student body, is from Washington, to come and to have fun together. And yeah.
All right, with all of the different new schools in our area, I'm sure you're aware of like the school boundaries and everything that has occurred. And when people think of Pineview, sometimes they think of St. George, but more often they think of Washington, because that's where a lot of our feeder schools and a lot of where our student population lives, myself included. So if you'll take a look at the map that we've provided for you, the dark area is what feeds into Pineview High School, and you'll notice a large area of that is in Washington, as well as some of the lighter gray. We've been here for a long time. Like Hazley mentioned, we've had this parade since 2007. It's a big part of our community, and we'd like to preserve that, especially for all the elementaries in the area. We really want to build a connection with the young students who will one day come to our high school and build that excitement, and a great way that we do that is through our parade. We have a wonderful attendance every single year, just seeing all those little kids running around on this great spot where it's next to the Veterans Park and very close to a few of our other feeder schools.
My name is Colton Hamilton. So we're just gonna talk about where the parade's gonna be at. If you look at the next map in there, I know it doesn't have color on there, but it's going down Telegraph. The arrow's pointing where it starts by 100 east west, and then it goes down to 200 south.
Colin, let me hold you up for just a second. Hey, Stephen, can you pull up a map on the screen, and we'll kind of follow from this staging area on 100 west and north of Telegraph. If you can kind of zoom into that area, is that the proposed staging area, right? On the vacant lot, the dirt lot next to Old Nyson grocery store
Yeah.
on 100 west, you would stage there.
Mm.
Okay, and he's gonna help us follow along on the map there. This council's used to looking at maps and plats and things, so yes, right there. So
Yes.
pull us along there.
So we would start there from like 6 to 6:45, gather there, and then we would head down Telegraph at 7. That's when it would start.
And there was a reason that you wanted to go east on Telegraph. Remind us what that is.
Because of the sun, I'll help Colton right here.
Sorry.
No, you guys are doing great. So we learned doing this over the years that looking into the sun and the growth, having kids in the median and on both sides of the street, that it was a lot safer to actually head from west to east. And so last year we did that, heading west to east, and it was much more effective, starting at 100 west and ending at 200 east. All right, continue.
Perfect.
Then I'll let you want to say that part? Yeah.
Hello, I'm Sam Montiel. I'm the student body vice president for Primary High School. We're planning to divert traffic at Main Street on 200 North to 300 East and 200 West. Traffic.
So the parade route would be from 100 west to 200 east, correct?
Yeah.
So so going eastbound, and then you would finish on 200 east. But that allows you to be kind of in front of Veterans Park and, okay. And the parade would start at 7.
Yeah.
Start it from the top again, Sam.
So then traffic will be diverted from 200 West and 300 East to 100 South. I don't know if that shows.
Okay. How long do you think the parade will last?
Probably, since the parade would start at 7, probably like 20 minutes. About 20 minutes. It wouldn't take that long, and we would be done by then.
So sorry, Adam DeWitt. I'm the advisor. By the time we get the police officer and we do one loop to make sure we've cleared off all the candy, because we don't want to leave any candy on the street so kids don't run into it.
Yeah.
We're done by 7:45.
Okay. So you'd probably need to close from 6:45 to 7:45, or would you need sooner than that for the staging?
No. Like I would even say like 6:55 would be fine.
6:55 to 7:45?
The past right when it's been turned to about 7, they close the street off.
Okay,
It's
right at
pretty
7.
efficient. We're ready to go.
Okay, good.
So Mayor, may I make a comment about that
Sure.
before we move to the next section? Where that ends right there, would it be advisable to allow them to just travel up and then come back to Veterans Park where they might want to gather for a minute and is there
I'm seeing Lieutenant Klotz nod his head that they ought to just kind of come back over on 100 North towards Veterans, and I think it'd be fun to have some of your gathering place for family and alumni and stuff, but maybe we're getting ahead of you. Is this your part?
Did I do that?
I read that on your face, so go ahead and tell us.
All right.
Okay, I'm Olivia Graff. I am the senior class publicity, and yeah, that is exactly what we want to do, except for before the parade. Because after the parade, we have like our powder puff game at the high school.
Oh,
And so
nice, okay.
We wanted to involve our Pineview Intermediate School and Pineview Middle and the surrounding elementaries, especially Washington Elementary, because this is a close enough area where they can walk if they need to. And so Veterans Park is a good spot where we can do games or face painting before the parade and have everyone, especially the community, involved there.
What time would you want to do that?
About 6 p.m. is what we were
Perfect.
thinking, so.
Perfect. Ms. Graff, how are you going to get the word out?
Great question.
Your
Usually-
publicity, how are you going
That
to?
is a great question. We have a social media page where we have posted a lot of this stuff, and we will use like sports groups can send it out with their social media or other ways. And also with at the high school, we usually have a piece of paper that we put on cars and stuff. So if we get the high school involved, a lot of them will tell their families and especially their younger siblings.
I've noticed at this parade, you get a lot of turnout, like all of your clubs, sports, groups come. This is a big deal. But I don't want to get ahead of you again, so I probably just did.
Hi, I'm Alexi Brown. I'm a student council member and I'm also part of the Pineview Cheer Squad. So that's actually my team in that picture. And we'd like to invite Mayor Staley and Washington City Council to join us and be a part of our Panther family because it's an incredible community and anyone who is a part of it knows how amazing and beautiful it is. And anyone should be a part of it if they'd like to.
Okay, so just in closing, we would like for the city council and mayor to consider accepting the opportunity for us to continue with this tradition with the parade going down Telegraph. The one thing that didn't get mentioned is I know there was a concern with Main Street and the new on-ramp, and so that would be the one area that we would divert traffic at 200 North and do the best we could, like we said, in the past, to get things cleaned up and opened up as quickly as possible. So thank you guys for your time with that. Any questions for us?
Stay here for a minute because this is the council's opportunity to give feedback and ask questions. Council, feedback and questions.
Well, you guys brought all the maps. I would like to see a map going back to 1983 of all the different boundaries, because back in the day, it was St. George went to Dixie and everybody else went to Pineview. So Enterprise, Bloomington, Santa Clara, we all went to Pineview, and I mean, it was a great melting pot of the community. But I think the other challenge that I have is every time you guys do this, it's always on a council night. So we as a council have never been able to see it.
Can work on that, Councilman.
Assuming it moves forward, it needs to be an
It sounds like
agenda
we'll
item.
need to work on that on our end a little bit because these Panther traditions run deep.
Mayor, can I ask a question if I'm very nice?
Well, can we talk first?
After Councilwoman Casperson,
I'll allow her to speak first.
I was almost going to do a motion that says that he can't ask his question, but I won't do that. But I just want to appreciate you all for coming and sharing about this. And I am totally supportive of it. I love the tradition. I recognize the value of it. And there's so many, how many of you are who live in Washington? Is there a lot of you that, yeah, there's a lot of people that go to Pineview live in Washington City. And so I just feel like it's a great way to bring our community together and then recognize our youth and our next leaders, for the next generation. And, both of my kids go to Pineview, and it really is like an awesome school with great kids. And so I'm happy to continue to support this and appreciate you guys coming in and being, it's not always easy to get up and speak in front of these guys.
Casperson is an iconic Pineview name, by the way, isn't it?
It definitely is,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm an original Pineview Panther, so I went there, they opened it in 83?
83.
And I was a junior in 83, so my sophomore year was at Dixie, because that's all we had back then, and then I went my junior and senior year at Pineview, so I love the Panthers. My kids went there. My wife, she's a Dixie Flyer, so, little thing there, but we'll forgive her for that. So, but appreciate you guys coming in and making a great presentation, so.
I feel like I've got a gun to my head here with all these Pineview grads, but my wife's a Pineview grad, so it's okay. I mean, it's not too far off the shelf. But I'm and I know Jeremy's gonna bring it up, I don't wanna break tradition, but our city's not the same city anymore either. My only question is there a way we can move it off of Telegraph? We have a lot of old parts of town that we could do a parade and have just as much fun and not shut down the main roads. That's my concern, is Main Street and Telegraph are our main roads through our city, and we're shutting them down. Now, I know it's only an hour. I'm just being devil's advocate and kind of throwing it out there. Have we looked at other options?
And I like that they're doing it at 7, so it's not during a busy time. You know, that's a good point too.
Better than 5, yes, but
Yeah.
7's still pretty busy. I know it's just an hour, I know, but it does put a lot of work on our staff and the police force to get it shut down and move it, and you get the frustrating people who don't expect it, and all of a sudden they're like, how do I get home? And now I gotta go through this neighborhood, and it's just a little inconvenient. I'm just asking the question, is there not a different route we can look at?
I think that's a very valid question. That's something we've actually, I know it's been brought up. I guess the one thing that comes to mind, and I agree, I grew up here, I knew your wife as a cheerleader. My wife cheered with your wife, so it's an awesome thing.
Now
too.
that
So,
he
there you
taught her
go.
too, so everyone knows my
Yeah,
wife.
so-
Went to school with
so
that too.
There's a connection somewhere. To me, while I do realize the inconvenience, I look at even, and I know safety and different things, but being on side streets and sending people in different routes, I don't know if it gets that same effect or feel of what you get for being in the heart of Pineview and what we're trying to build as a community. I do realize that it is a disruption for people, especially on that main road, but I don't think it's that. And I also realize the time and effort that come into Public Works and our police and kind of the whole measure, but I do feel like the benefits outweigh the costs, in my opinion, in regards to what it brings to the culture, and kind of bringing unity within the community was kind of our model we were bringing up, so.
So let me share my disclaimer. I'm a Dixie guy. I went there, I coached
He's
there.
even wearing blue, if you noticed.
But I love Pineview. I taught at Washington, and all my students went to Pineview. I may have taught when you were there, Mr. Gifford. And, I'm going to start off with something else, Mayor, if you don't mind. I just want to tell you how proud I am that you're here. The leadership, the young eyes that are looking at you, don't ever doubt the power that you have to set the right example for being here. And I do understand we're a council that covers every base, because we have a huge responsibility on our city to do that, to be responsible and to put our citizens first. And I appreciate Councilman Coates' comment. I really do. I know that we have the ability in the past to close roads for like Ironman. That was always we were kind of like supportive, but didn't really have the direct benefit. But I appreciate the fact that it's going to be short. I think that, Mayor, I would just like to hear maybe from Lieutenant Klotz, maybe just to comment when we're done, just what his comment is. But I too stand in support of this. I think that it's something that we need to do, and if we can't do it for our kids.
So can I just ask, just as an extension of what Councilman Coates was saying on location, I mean, is there, I don't know what your schedule's like as far as timing goes, because there are high times and low times and all that. That's why all our parades are on Saturday mornings, or to the extent possible.
Yeah, and that's a great thing too. I think looking into that and trying to figure out the complexities of all of the activities and games and homecoming and kind of what's leading up to that big thing, is that Saturday becomes, I actually think, a pretty difficult thing in regards to what we're trying to do timing.
Well, I know these kids want to have the day out of school, so,
Yeah, I was
just
gonna
cut them
say.
out of school sometime.
That would be nice too. I wish we could get the transportation, we'd do it.
I think we'd get more complaints if we did it during the middle of the day,
But yes, those are all very valid points that we definitely have looked into.
I do have a question on noticing that came up, and just thinking about it. I know my day job, we deal with projects and design and construction, and so a lot of times we have to notice prior to an event with a board, a notification board. Do you do any of that kind of notification that would be on the school to provide that notification? Because that would make me more comfortable saying, hey, it's going to be shut down from here to here this day, like a week prior or a few days prior. I'm not just to help so that people don't just get off the freeway and be like, oh, what, that's where you get the frustration when you
Yes.
don't expect it.
Definitely. I think we could definitely do our due diligence to get that up so that it's people are aware of that. So whatever we need to do, we'd be happy to help facilitate that.
Council, do we let Jeremy make a comment here?
I don't know.
You notice he's got a Red Bull over there tonight, and so I'm not, it puts me a little on edge, but all right. Councilwoman Cashman, you keep him in check. We'll allow the city manager to make some comments here.
I think it's super important for the kids to recognize you don't always come and it's just red carpet rolled out. You know, sometimes people give you hard comments. Since we're talking about it, I'm San Juan High School class of 94, so.
Where's that?
If anybody knows where that is, that's a championship school. So, Councilman Coates took away my question, so I won't make you ask any hard questions, but I will mention there's a lot. We talked about the freeway exit. There's a new Winco coming in, and the city's working really hard on revitalizing our downtown. So as we go, I'm obviously in the minority tonight. I understand that, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's wonderful that they'll end up letting you do the parade. But recognize it's only going to get harder. And as we develop our downtown, that lot for staging will go away. We're going to have a lot more people, businesses, and it becomes harder and harder to shut down. So I don't think it's anti-child, it's anti-Pineview, but it gets harder and harder. So, I mean, I would maybe encourage you to look at other places where maybe it could happen in the future if it can't happen in our downtown. That's my only comment here.
We pay him for this kind of feedback. Thank you, Jeremy. That was really good. I think one of the council members asked for Lieutenant Klotz to come up and.
Also a Pineview Panthers state wrestling champion.
Well, I was going to say, we could clear these chairs out a little bit, and I mean, this would be a pretty good.
Hello, Mayor, Council.
Lieutenant.
Yeah, so obviously, like they've already discussed, last year we did change the route to go eastbound instead of westbound with the sunlight. That was just an obvious thing. With that lot there, that made the staging area a lot better. Because before we lined up right next to First Stop gas station, and that whole road was just a mess. And so we did ask last year that they would come around on 100 North there by 200 East and come back towards the park. With the new parking lot back here, that could also help with some additional parking now. Obviously, the Main Street concerns, moving the traffic pattern up to 200 North. Normally, I have my officer staged right there at 100 North and Main Street to divert people onto 100. So
your feedback, we would defer to you on that, Lieutenant.
So I think that's a better idea. That's just going to take another officer. So generally we're at 9 to 10 officers for this event. And so I can use code enforcement. We do have a bigger VIPS program now that I can pull from if they're available. Obviously they're volunteers, so it's ask and I don't tell. Yeah. So yeah, it is doable. Like I say, just as city manager said, the downtown area is growing, and that Main Street interchange has definitely brought a lot more traffic.
Are we asking too much, or can the PD, I know it's a sacrifice, we recognize that, Mr. Griffith recognizes that, and also with Public Works.
Yeah, and so obviously with the signage and things that we're talking about, I think that would definitely help. We haven't done that in the past for this parade. And so obviously if we had some signage, I would suggest we put it on Main Street where they come off the interchange there and let everybody know, hey, this is coming, and then on both sides of Telegraph between the parade route. That way, people coming in through that area are going to know, hey, parade coming at this time on this day. That would maybe eliminate some of our traffic concern. Obviously, we get people that are heading to the fields that maybe not come down Main Street at that time, but we'll deal with that. I do think that 200 North is a better traffic detour area, and if I do that, again, I might need some additional people on 100 East to make sure nobody comes south on towards Telegraph from there, because as soon as they get off and we divert into a neighborhood, they try the first exit to go down. And so if they come down to 100 North, then they're going up that hill, and where the parade's going to come back around to the park. So I think it just takes some tweaking. Yeah, we can do it. Obviously we make our other parades work, and it's double the staffing coming down 300 and up Main, and so it's just those extra things. But yeah, it's definitely doable. So
did you have something, Councilman? Well, thank you. Please relay back to Chief and Lieutenant and the rest of the force there that we appreciate that sacrifice, and that the students and faculty administration recognizes that sacrifice. Thank you, Lieutenant. Students, you did a great job. You got a great leader in your principal. One thing that we do as a growing city too is we do have process. So with your activities at Veterans Park and with your parade, by tomorrow, I would recommend that you get with Tara, the city recorder, and get that application for approval for both the events at Veterans Park and the parade submitted quickly. Jeremy, what would you add to
Yeah,
that?
they can just fill out a new event permit.
And that's just online?
Yeah, yeah. They did the first one that I denied, but if they do it again with the changes we've discussed, then it sounds like there's support.
And I would just make sure that if you're going to do some events downtown or at Veterans Park, that you include that as part of the event permit. So it sounds like you know what to do there.
One more comment, if that's all right.
Yes, and your name for the record.
Sorry, yes, I apologize for that. My name is Cassandra Bailey.
Cassandra,
I am the
yes.
student body secretary. Just one more point I'd like to make in response to Manager Red's comment about the growth of our city. I would almost argue that I understand the inconvenience that the route makes for people trying to pass through, but I would almost argue that with the growth of our city and with like the introduction of a Winco and larger establishments like that, it might be even more important to keep that route to strengthen the community. As our city expands, it's easier for it to drift apart. Like if you compare a smaller city like Santa Clara to perhaps like Orem or Salt Lake City, with how big those places are, it's harder to feel connected. So as our city continues to grow and expand, I feel like one of the best ways that we can stay connected as a community is starting with the education level, because when the elementary kids or the intermediate kids or the high school kids see us come together as a community, that can build bonds that last a very long time, and being able to hold it on such an important road can show the value that we put into our education system and into our future citizens in the city.
Just put senator in front of her name.
I was gonna say, she has a future sitting up here next to me.
I'll tell
I
you
like
what.
that. I like
You
that.
do really good. Thank you.
Yeah, unity in the community. And then will you just, Mr. Gifford, get her on the debate team as well? And then get that application in. Thank you, Pineview High School. Each of you played your part very well, and we're proud of this upcoming generation and all you and this homecoming event. It's going to be a wonderful event. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
For our workshop session, we have saved the best for last. A continuation of our canal easement agreement discussion. And Pineview High School, thank you for being here. You are excused. Only know that we will soon have a wonderful trail system that goes clear along the Washington Bench from Schnabkaib all the way down to George Washington Boulevard. And it doesn't happen without guys like Pineview High School, class of, I'm guessing, 95?
99, Mayor.
99, Thad Segmler, who is now our city attorney, put together these kind of agreements to let us do that kind of thing. So you really don't have to stay. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Mayor, I'll be broadcasting the red lines to the monitor here as soon as I pull them up. All righty, Mayor, after the discussion at last meeting, I went back into the documents, made a few edits to respond to the feedback received from the council. I'll just scroll down there quickly. It's in the one paragraph that received most of the attention. So you'll see here in paragraph 5, subsection C, The first thing I did was delete the words replace or expand from that first sentence. I thought that allowed us to focus the language in the first couple sentences on repair and maintenance of what currently exists. Because it was communicated that we wanted to treat, maintenance and repair of what exists differently than maybe a project that's changing it. And so then I added this sentence at the end that says, in the event that company, that's the canal company, determines to expand or replace, those are the words I deleted. So in the event that canal company determines to expand or replace its existing irrigation, conveyance / distribution facilities located within the conveyance easements in a manner that would result in widespread destruction of public infrastructure within the conveyance easements, companies shall repair and restore public infrastructure within the conveyance easements, unless company and city reach a written agreement addressing the scale of destruction to public assets and assigning responsibility for restoration and repair. And so I don't think this is aggressive towards the canal company, but it does assign responsibility to them that wasn't previously assigned for replacement or expansion of the current facilities. The way it reads is they're responsible for expansion or replacement unless they can reach an agreement with the city on how to address the scale of destruction and the costs of repair and replacement.
So it's more wordy, and I like that I understand where you're at, not super aggressive, and I don't think our intent was to be aggressive. I read this, it felt like we let them off. Like, why would we go into an agreement agreeing to pay to fix it? Like, what was your thought process on that?
I have no thought on that. That's just saying in the future, when a project comes, they're responsible unless they can get us to agree to something. And so some future council would decide whether or not they felt like the city should have some responsibility.
Okay,
I don't have any reason why.
Okay, and I get, there's just an option, and I guess if we both agree to it, I just don't want them to think that we're saying we'll have to agree to that.
So it's not an option. It says company shall repair and restore unless they reach an agreement with the city. So it's not choose one or the other. It's you do it unless you're able to advocate to the city's representatives and get a written agreement that addresses this.
Okay.
And so I'm open to other language.
Some kind of an agreement where the city and the canal company were doing a project together or something like that where we agreed to.
Would you clarify widespread a little bit? I don't want that to be kind of vague. What do you see that it would mean to both parties?
That is not a legal term. I think that's suggesting that it's more than just, a spot location.
Is there a way to attach like a dollar amount or a distance amount or a length to that, or is it just kind of?
I can do any definition you want me to put there.
No, you're the legal expert. Yeah. I just was wondering how you would interpret widespread, because we might think of it one way and they might think of it as something else.
Yeah, you phoned in on a good point. They're gonna say, look, it's only half a mile, so it's not widespread, and we're gonna say, look, on the existing system, you've never torn up a half a mile ever, right? You've replaced at a valve location near a road crossing, and so this is more than just a spot location, which makes it widespread, but yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
The city and the canal company probably would interpret widespread differently in certain project areas.
Could you just get rid of widespread and this would result in destruction of public infrastructure without?
Yeah, I could do that, and the nice thing that does is it just focuses this paragraph on expansion or replacement.
Zach, can I ask a question just out of curiosity?
Absolutely.
Like compared to say 50 years ago, I don't know how much land the irrigation company irrigated 50 years ago, but like where are we at now? Are we at 50% of the land that we had 50 years ago that gets irrigated, or what?
You're probably at 5% or so that remains flood irrigated.
Okay.
One of the things that still occurs that isn't visible is the 50 years ago, 100% was irrigated from an open canal that was earthen. So about 25 years ago, it became a concreted canal, maybe that's 35 or so, right? 15 or so, it became a piped canal. So water does flow through the area to different ponds and facilities that then deliver it through piped systems. St. George City, for example, has certain ponds and things, and they collect the water and pipe it from there. And so while it's not flowing in the surface of the farmlands anymore, it is still flowing through to systems that then collect it and use it.
So even if all of the farmland goes away, it will still be running water to fill ponds that get pumped somewhere else?
That is correct.
Okay.
I understand that the water district is planning for this right of way to be a water conveyance easement in perpetuity for some of their bigger plans that are regional.
Right, okay. Thank you.
So the sentence after that is, I think replacement and expansion are very realistic future things. Yeah, and that's why I'm glad the council identified that and we're treating it differently.
So is this finally ready to sign?
That's your decision. It's on the meeting, your next meeting, your formal meeting. I did make some other small changes, but they're not content-based. Well, they are content-based, but just formalities. In the signature line, there were some blanks, so I went ahead and filled them in with text of who's signing it.
I mean, I'm fine with everything. I do agree that removing widespread makes it sound better, but,
Yeah, so in your next meeting, I would just suggest that if you're gonna make a motion, you'd say move to approve with the final draft being edited to remove the word widespread. And then I'll make that change and we'll get it to mayor.
And then just sign it and send it to them, have the mayor sign it, send it to them, and
Correct.
then they can choose to fight it or keep going.
Correct. We've sent them a few versions of this already and they've not been willing to sign it back to us yet. So we'll see if they sign this one back to us.
Well, I've been known to preemptively sign a contract and say, there you go. Because now the other side's looking at it with a signature on it saying, oh, I can be done with this, or I can kind of go back to the drawing board, right? So.
Yeah.
Appreciate your work on this. I think we're getting closer from where we started, from our side, right? Like, I don't know their side. I think it's a good agreement. I think we can work together and it helps both parties, in my opinion, so.
Yeah, Washington City also has plans for that right of way in perpetuity too, right? And so they're not the only ones that look at that space and have public thoughts. And so I like your comments that there's really a ground for collaboration there somewhere. We're just trying to find what that ground is. I will not be here for your next meeting. I'll be up in Cedar City for All Stars. So Manager Red is gonna handle that item.
Well, if he's already been censored by the mayor tonight, I don't know if we can allow him to.
The juniors and the majors, I coach the juniors, are playing Enterprise and championship games for the division at 7:30 at Field at the Hills.
Thank you, Thad. Good feedback, good work. That is everything for the workshop meeting. I'll call for a motion to adjourn until 6 p.m. for our regular meeting. Motion by Councilman Belliston, second by Councilman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned until 6 p.m. Is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. We are in the council chambers at Washington City Hall for our regular meeting. You can follow our meetings live or watch them later. They're archived at washingtoncity.org/meetings. As is custom for the last 4 years, we've partnered and we appreciate the service of the Interfaith Council. So our invocation will be offered by Pastor Derek DeTony Hill from the Shepherd of the Hills Methodist Church. Pastor.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Appreciate being able to be here, and it's a privilege to, after having celebrated July 4th, it's a privilege to be a part of a country, a nation, and a people who take seriously working with each other and working together. And I think that's what God invites us to do as well. So thank you for allowing us to be part of your meetings. So invite us to pray. Gracious Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for your love. Thank you for this place that we call home, and the place that you have gifted us with, as well as gifted us with the opportunity to share with folks far and wide who come to visit us in this region. Bless us as we seek to care for the land that is around us, as we seek to care for one another and recognize the connections between us and among us, even where there are differences, the ways in which we still find life and find love and find ways to work together for the good of all. Bless this meeting, bless all who are here, and watch over us, be with families and friends, be with those around our nation who are hurting and struggling, and in the midst of times of difficulty, we lift them to you. And we ask for wisdom for these leaders, that they might discern and decide wisely. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate the important work that you do in the community. I've asked Councilman Craig Coates to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Before I call for a motion to approve the agenda, I'll make note that we do not have need to go to closed session this evening. That said, I'll call for a motion on the agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Coates. Second by Councilwoman Casperson. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Our first item of business is announcements. I would like to recognize staff members from both Congresswoman Malloy and Senator Lee's office. And I'd invite Rayleigh Madrid and Gary Webster just to come forward at this time and give us a legislative update on some of the things happening at the federal level. Good to see you, Rayleigh.
Good to see you guys. An exciting thing in our office is the Congresswoman ran a Congressional Review Act resolution, which overturned a Biden administration rule that prohibited off-road vehicles from about 24 miles in Glen Canyon Dam. We had some constituents reach out, and obviously this was an unnecessary rule, so we were excited to overturn this, and President Trump signed it off, so we're excited. We've been really busy working to get the big, beautiful bill passed, which we are happy we got through finally. And the Congresswoman has asked us to remind everyone that if you need any help with talking with federal agencies, our office is here. And if you need anything else from us, please let us know. Thanks for...
And you're our local contact, correct?
Yes, I am for Washington County. Yep.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Gary Webster. I represent Senator Lee. I'm his Southern Utah Director. And of course, of the big, beautiful bill, as Rayleigh mentioned, has passed. One thing to note that is included in that bill is the reauthorization of the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. And that will include all of Utah now, as well as neighboring states. So if you have any questions, the Department of Justice is actually administering that, and they have not yet completed their preparations to execute on those measures. So it will take some time, but reach out to our office if you have any questions. And obviously, Senator Lee is very busy from his perspective as the chair of Energy and Natural Resources, also on the Judiciary Committee. So those things will keep him busy, and we're in preparation for the August recess, which we hope that the senator will be able to get around the state. But he's also involved in some of the international issues, actually working closely with in some meetings in preparation for the designation, we hope, of some adjustments within our neighboring areas that we know as the Grand Staircase and the Bears Ears. We'll see how those public lands situations come to fruition. So thank you. And if, like as Ray Lee mentioned, our office offers all types of insight regarding assisting constituents with dealings with the federal government. So if you have any questions regarding Social Security or otherwise, please get in touch with our office. Thank you.
Thank you both. And I'll just note how much I appreciate your involvement within the community. I ran into you both last night at an event, and I just always feel from our legislative representatives back in DC how accessible they are within our communities, and that's an extension of you. And of course, Gary, you've been a Washington City resident for a long time, so we appreciate you both. Thank you for being here and for giving us the updates. Next on announcements, I'd just like to recognize Eldon Gibb, who has been promoted and is now our Community Development Director. Congratulations, Eldon. You've done a great job. It's well deserved. Remember that Pioneer Day is on July 24th. We'll have the parade, the Lions Club breakfast, and all of the Pioneer Day activities, including the foot races at Veterans Park that morning. And then Washington City does our fireworks on Pioneer Day. So the evening of the 24th, I believe at 10 p.m., we'll light off our fireworks from the baseball fields near the community center.
Mayor, there's no ringers allowed at the races either.
I don't know. I mean, Casperson's pretty fast. Before we get to our guests, council, any other announcements that I may have missed? Okay, seeing none. Longtime friend, longtime homegrown Washington boy and current resident, Coach Dave Holt, will you come forward and team, track team, girls track team, region champs, state champs, if you'll come up. Coach, will you just give us a little synopsis of the season, and then we'll let each of these athletes introduce themselves and we'll interact with them. Bring the hardware, absolutely bring the hardware. It was earned early mornings and with a lot of effort.
Okay. I'd rather have them talking than me, but.
Well, you get us kicked up. You go first leg on this relay, and we'll let them anchor.
We've got a few of our members of our track team and a few of our coaches here with us. This was a tremendous team this year. Probably, I'm always biased, but this is probably one of the best teams of any sport ever in Pineview High School history. Ultimately, we were the #1 ranked team in all of Utah, not just 4A state champions. There's 16 events in high school track, and our girls team broke our school record 20, I counted it up, I can't remember, 24 times for the girls. They broke school records.
Kept raising.
Over and over and over again, yeah. We won state by the largest margin of any division. We scored the most points of any team in the state.
Would you score 122 points?
Yeah, 122, I think it was. Against another really good team, a local team, Snow Canyon was an extremely good team, but these girls have just did tremendous. So we've got a few of them here. Maylee is one of the top throwers ever in Utah as a freshman, furthest freshman discus thrower ever in Utah. We've got the Smith sisters, Sydney and Avery. We got Emily Williams. She was a four-time All-State athlete this year, and Elin Holtz there. And
you can brag on her. Don't just skip her over.
And some of our amazing assistants. Jason Quinn. Jason's been coaching with us for a long time. During the track season, he focuses on the high jump, which was one of our state champions who couldn't be here tonight. Was a high jumper, Tori Conrad. We have Jansen Quinn Morgan. She is a Washington resident, born and raised, Dogtowner. And she coached these unbelievable sprint. She's got our head assistant for the track team and unbelievable sprint coach. We had two girls who were second and third in the 200 and the 100 back and forth, and the state champion in the 400.
Reimer and what was it?
Jade Reimer and Ashley Levitt.
Levitt,
Yeah.
yes. Do I see Levitt's parents here, but not her? No? Okay.
And the Utah 4A state record holders in the 4x1. So the sprint team was absolutely tremendous. And Coach Kaylin Williams has been with us, and she's brought all sorts of energy and amazing stuff for our distance crew, and then makes it so I can just sit back and enjoy all the amazing things that these girls do. So yeah, that's who we got here. So ask away.
Okay, well, just, so of this group here, I know your parents, Miss Smith, so you get to go first. Would you just do us a favor? One of the reasons your student council was here earlier working on homecoming for this fall, and they used a remarkable term. They called it unity in the community. And so we like to do this periodically, where we bring individuals and teams and groups into the council just to recognize you for this exceptional achievement. And so we love that you are here, and your families and your coaches are here. But this is a team. So my ask of you is, will you read the list of the teams on the championship trophy, the 4A girls track state championship? Unless there's somebody that, can you see that okay? I have readers if you need them.
I can see it. Okay. Aspen Adams, Jordan Andrew, Elsie Atkinson, Andy Baker, Julia Calico, Dagan Carnahan, Tori Conrad, Samantha Despain, Meadow Fawson, Tevia Geddes, Piper Gilmore, Mia Hall, Peyton Haymore, Elin Holt, Soraya Jones, Laura Langford, Ashley Levitt, Claire Lefevre, Jade Reimer, Maylee Ramash, Vanessa Ruiz, Tira Samfong, Sylvia Segmiller, Avery Smith, Sydney Smith, Izzy Swift, Peyton Walwork, Emily Williams.
Can we just give a round of applause for those girls? Oh my heck. So, Miss Smith, tell us your first name and tell us the event that you participate in.
I'm Avery, and I'm a distance runner, so from the 800, 32, and then the 4x8 relay.
Fantastic.
And the 16, sorry.
What was your favorite part about being on the team this year?
Really, it was the unity of the girls. I think there's so many events in track, and it's so easy to get focused on yourself, but this team really came together really well, and we all supported each other no matter the event, even if we didn't understand them very well.
So some friendly rivalry and pushing each other. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Congratulations, Avery.
Thank you so much.
Who's next up? Miss Williams? All right, I know your family too. Yeah. So tell us again your first name.
I'm Emily.
And pull that down just a little bit, Emily.
Yeah,
so are you a distance runner or a sprinter? Because I heard that Coach Williams is a distance coach.
Yeah, I'm distance.
All right, what events?
Same thing as Avery.
Same as Avery?
400.
Which one's your favorite event? Which is your best event?
I'd say probably the 800.
The 800? Mm-hmm. That's a gutty race, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
So specifically in a track setting, and I'm a believer that running is like the best parallel for life. what has your distance running coach there taught you that you'll take in running and in life? This coach with the hat and the glasses, you call her mom otherwise.
A lot that I've learned from her is kind of just be a hard worker and put everything out there. Like, you're gonna have bad days and days that are just like really tough, but as long as you go out there and do your best all the time, then you're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, who's next? Miss Holt? So are you Coach Holt's daughter?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because I know your grandpa and your uncle and a few others. Tell us your name.
I'm Elon.
Distance runner?
Yes.
It runs in the family. So tell us what's your favorite event?
I like the 800 one.
The 800 too?
Yeah.
What is it with the 800 that everybody likes? That seems like it's too long to be a sprint and too short to be a distance.
That's what I like about it. It's short, but it's fast and fun.
And the head coach, meaning the main guy there, same question for you. What has he taught you in running that applies to life?
Probably just to work hard. Like, I don't know. Just that, I don't know, just to always try.
Yeah.
Even though it's scary and hard.
It's true. It's good advice. Congratulations. We're proud of you. Well done. All right, Miss Smith.
Yep.
I got to know your first name too.
I am Sydney Smith.
Sydney. And sisters.
Yep, twins.
Twins. I knew that. I remember when you played softball years ago. Years ago.
I run distance also.
Is it just the distance runners and the field that show? Okay. Well, let me guess. 800's your favorite?
Well, that's the one on the best step. I wouldn't really, actually, I don't know. It depends on the day which one's my favorite.
What's the furthest distance you do?
I also run cross country, but in track it's the 3200.
Okay. Tell us about that event.
I only ran it once, and I kind of got thrown into it. Like the day before at practice, he was like, "We have an extra spot," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm doing it." And everyone kind of dreads it because it's the longest event, but I did it, and I actually had a lot of fun. So I don't know why everyone hates it. It was kind of fun.
Ask a question?
Yes.
I love the 32. It's the funnest one to watch. I love the strategy. That's like my favorite race. I'll go early. My son runs at Crimson, but I'll go early and watch the 32 and 1600 because I think they're the funnest races to watch. But the 800's about my third favorite. So
those races are all great when they're over. When you're finished with it, that's when they're fun, right? Oh, that was great. But they're tough.
But usually it's after the race, oh, that was the worst thing I did. And then when am I signing up for my next race? Is usually what happens.
It's so weird. Do they teach you to use your elbows to jockey for position just a little bit, not give it up too much?
Just a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna change it up on you. You're not done.
Oh, okay.
So on a serious note, what made this team so special? Because you don't break that many records. You don't win that many invitationals. You don't win region, and you don't win state by that margin, by a bigger margin than anyone else, without having something special. So I don't want to just hear hard work, but that's important. But what made this team special?
I think something is that we're like a really well-rounded team. Like at state, and like all the events that we participated in, we had like a medalist in it, and like, well, almost all of them. And like basically everyone who like participated in state, except for a couple people, got medals and
scored points.
Yes, scored points. So I think that's really important. Like a bunch of the other schools would just have like a couple really good people, but we have like the entire team. We have someone in every event that's good.
I love that. There's a lot to be learned by that, isn't there? Well-rounded, everybody playing their part. Great answer. Good job.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Sorry.
So Miss Smith, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an older brother that was a football player a couple
Yes.
years ago?
We were just talking about him a little bit ago.
Soon to be a trailblazer or something?
Yep.
He's on his mission?
He had to come home because he
So he's gonna, okay, so
he
he's
got
back.
hurt.
Good. Okay, I said make connections, so it kind of runs in the family, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, state champ discus record holder? Are you kidding me? As a freshman? Did I hear that right?
Well, it's the Utah State history record as a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us your name. Tell us a little more about it.
Okay, my name's Maylee Ramash. I do discus, and my furthest throw is 134 feet. So, what else do you want to know?
Wow. So how did you end up being a discus thrower? Did Coach Holt find and recruit you, or was it Coach Decker? Did Josh Decker find you?
Sample.
My dad actually introduced me 5th grade up in Vernal, Utah, and then we moved down here just to, I don't know, we moved down.
For the cool weather.
Yeah, for real. And then I just went to Pineview for many reasons, but just, yeah, for the fun of it.
What has been your favorite part of this experience this season?
This season, I really think it was just coming together more as a team, because right before region, we made bracelets, and then we wore it, at least. I forgot it at the first day of region, but that's okay. Yeah. And I think it just reminded me that I'm not only doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for the team.
I love that. I love that. And these friendships with your peers and with your coaches, those will last forever. Yeah. And the hardware will be in the trophy case at Pineview High School. We're just so proud. Coaches, anything to add that we should make sure is made mention of tonight? Don't be shy. Do you want to brag on those sprinters a little bit and the relays? You need to.
None of my sprinters came. I'm really sad. But I just think this was honestly the best group of girl sprinters we've had in a long, long time.
Since Tiffany Lott in '94.
Yeah,
I went to school with her.
And so it's just so refreshing to have all these amazing girls, because, one girl comes in and it's every workout, every girl is just pushing each other. Jade and Ashley were always back to back, and that was sometimes a hard duo to handle after a meet. One would be all crying. It's just so sad to say, but one would be all crying and the other one is happy, so it was hard. But it just
they made each other better though, didn't they?
Yes, the amazingness of them made each other better, and it was they were, as an individual, they were great, but then I think having that other people who are really great with them pushed them to be a lot better. So, it's just fun. It's fun. It's sad to see a lot of the seniors go and they're not even here. I'm sad they didn't come, but
yeah,
hopefully we'll have some good things. Ashley's still here, but yeah. So I don't know. I just think.
And the relays.
Hey, we almost got the 4x2 relay, but Snow Canyon beat us by what? 0.1.
It's like a photo finish.
Yeah, it was the photo finish. That was the most amazing relay at Crimson ever. So it was a very, very amazing team. So very special girls.
So cool. Good job, Coach. Coach Williams, we're friends. I can't not give you the mic for a minute. Just what would you add about this special season, and how has it felt just to be a part of it?
Oh, I absolutely love it. And it has been so fun. The energy that the girls have, I remember at state, the first race, Coach Holt will tell you, because it was Snow Canyon, the numbers were right there, just the same, right? And very first events, Tori won high jump, Emily took 3rd in the 32, which she was supposed to place 6th or 5th. And then we had one girl not do as well from Snow Canyon, we had a girl place 5th, and it was just so exciting.
Seeing points on the board.
Yes, and we talked to the girls and we're we can do it, and just their energy, they just really worked together. And even at region, they wanted it. They wanted to win. A lot of people go to region and keep some of their best runners out so other runners can get in, but our girls were we want to three-peat, we want to do it. They just had that desire in the heart and just really come together. It's just been a joy. I love them. They're all so fun. It was so fun. It was an amazing time, amazing experience. And it's hard to win state track. That is a hard thing to do. To come together with all those different events is really, really difficult. So it was fun. And Coach Holt won't tell you, but he's not just sit on the sidelines. He's amazing. He really is the heart and has put in the effort for this team for years and years and years and years and years, and that's why it's a program it is today, so.
We know
kudos to him.
Coach Holt,
Yep.
and we couldn't have more respect for him. He's been a Washington boy his whole life, and we just, the impact that you have on the track and in the community and at the school is just, it's remarkable. Thanks, Coach, for all you do. Let's give a round of applause for the state champs. And then, would you mind if we join you for a picture, just at the front, and we'll just we'll come down around and we'll just join in behind you. Except for me, I'm going to come in the middle. This way, stand on this here.
The two trophies right by you.
Congratulations, ladies. Well done. Don't drop that. Good job. Good job. Ms. Holmes. There we go. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is declaration of abstentions and conflicts. Anything to declare this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda, which consists of approval of minutes from City Council meeting of 6/25/25 and the board audit report from June 2025.
A motion that we approve the consent agenda as outlined.
I have a motion by Councilman Belliston,
Second.
second by Councilman Ivy. All in favor? Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to our next section on the agenda, which is award of bid. First item is consideration to award the bid for the 500 West and Telegraph Traffic Signal Project to Sunrock Corp. In the amount of $336,692.44. Council, you've seen this in your packet. Any need for Assistant Public Works Director Andy Stevens to come forward, or are we ready to make a motion on this?
I have a question from Jeremy. Isn't the developer paying for half this light? Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
So in the motion that I'm ready to make, a motion for the full amount or for the half of the amount?
The full amount, because we're paying for it and it's getting reimbursed, right?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Councilman Belliston, go ahead.
Make a motion that we award the bid for the 500 Western Telegraph Traffic Signal Project to Sunrock Corp. In the amount of $336,692.44.
Heard the motion by Councilman Coates, a second by Councilman Casperson. All in favor?
Aye.
Did I hear, is that unanimous?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's unanimous. Next item, 5B, consideration to award the bid for the Mill Creek Box Culvert Apron Repair Project to Interstate Feller Enterprises in the amount of $59,650. It's not Interstate, it's Feller Enterprises. That's why I stumbled on that. This is awarding the bid to Mill Creek for the Mill Creek Box Culvert Apron Repair to Feller Enterprises in the amount of $59,650.
That motion.
Hold on a sec, Councilman. I have a question, if you don't mind, Mayor.
Sure, Councilman Ivy.
What was the reason? It says it was damaged. How was it damaged?
Assistant Public Works Director Andy Stevens.
So in the storm that we had a month and a half ago, the Parks Department called me out because the trail had washed away down Mill Creek below Nyson Park. And that's when I noticed that the apron had lifted from the high flows in Mill Creek. And so we put a project together real fast and got it out.
So it's caused by weather.
Wait, yeah, by the high
Right.
flows in Mill Creek.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Andy. Further questions for staff? If not, I'll call for a motion on this item.
So made.
I have a motion to approve in the amount indicated by Councilman Belliston. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
That is awarded unanimously. We'll move to the next section on the agenda, resolutions. This is consideration, 6A is consideration to approve a resolution appointing members to the Employee Appeals Board. City Manager Jeremy Redd.
We had a couple of people who have moved, and so it became necessary to add some names to our Employee Appeals Board list. So the permanent members would be Corey Klotz, Barry Blake, and Jake Bennett, which have not changed, and the alternates would be Leanna Bishop, Josh Faulkner, Tess Prisbury, and John Hankey.
And the council positions will still be Councilor Anderson and myself.
Those are appointed by the mayor. These are the ones that I do that haven't changed. Yours haven't changed.
Okay. Council, you've heard the names. Do I have a motion on this item?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve a resolution appointing members to the Employee Appeals Board.
I have a motion by Councilman Ivy, a second by Councilman Belliston. This is a resolution, so we'll go roll call, beginning with Councilmember Belliston.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Coates.
Aye.
Ivy. Casperson.
Aye.
That is approved unanimously. Item 6B, this is consideration to approve a resolution for an easement and facilities liability agreement between Washington City and the St. George and Washington Canal Company. We discussed this in our work session just prior to this meeting. Is there any further discussion on this, or is there a motion?
Yeah, Mayor, can we have Jeremy read this line by line? I'm just kidding, everyone.
Whereas,
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution for the easement facilitating liability agreement between Washington City and St. George and Washington Canal Company.
Was there a word that?
Can I make an amendment to that?
Oh, yeah, well,
All in paragraph 5C.
I will agree to that.
Aye.
Widespread, to remove that from the agreement.
Okay, you've heard the motion to approve with the removal of the word widespread as indicated. The motion is by Councilman Coates, second by Councilman Belliston. We'll go roll call, beginning with Councilmember Henderson.
Aye.
Coates.
Aye.
Ivy. Casperson.
Aye.
Belliston.
Aye.
That is approved unanimously. Next item on the agenda is report of officers from assigned committees. Councilman Belliston.
None today.
Councilman
Thank you.
Henderson.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Coates.
Yeah, I want to hear more about mosquitoes.
Councilman Ivy.
Keeping them under control.
Yeah, Mayor, I've only got 6 or 7 things to talk about, but I'm just going to say that July 4th was a great day in our city to drive around and see everyone celebrating, having their barbecue and honoring our nation. It was really nice, a nice celebration here, and it was really fun to see that. That's all.
It's like a hometown family reunion, isn't it?
The pies were fabulous this year. The crust on the pies, amazing.
And probably the best turnout I've seen in a decade, at least.
Yeah.
It was a good year.
Thank you, Councilman Ivy. Councilman Casperson.
I don't have anything, but I do want to say that Jeremy has challenged all of us to the races. And so he actually made the suggestion and the idea. So if you guys are up for that.
Is Jeremy running then?
He actually wants to because he's been working out hard, he said, so.
I think there should be a mayor and council and city manager race. What do you think?
Pull my hamstring.
Bought some new short shorts for the.
No one's going to be there now.
Stockton shorts.
Thank you, council. Next item of business is report from the city manager.
I do have a couple items, but I'll talk quickly. So the Salente Waterline project that we've been talking about has reached Washington Parkway now, so you might see construction and or some closures, so just be aware of that. The Mangata Townhome project is starting to see construction. As long as that keeps going, that means that Main Street will be full width all the way up to the park.
Are we going to have a gap? I feel like
Be a gap. We're gonna finish
to do it. Okay, because I felt like there's that gap by the detention pond.
That's ours, and so we're gonna take care of it at the same time and reimburse them. Merrill Road will be closed for one lane for the next 6 weeks while they do the widening project on the St. George portion to this project we talked about. The contractor's working their best to have it reopened before the start of school. And Merrill Road and Washington Field signal is under design, and the Telegraph and 500 West signal you bid out tonight. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have no need of closed session. Before I call for a motion to adjourn, is everyone in town on July 23rd? Will we have a quorum for the meetings that night?
I should be here.
Okay. That said, I'll call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So made.
I have a motion by Councilman Ivy, second by Councilman Belliston. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.